I participated in a game jam, where you had to make a game in a week. So, when the theme was announced, I started doing some researches about it. The theme was the future, so I started thinking in the future. Well, big cities, flying cars, teleportation, new planets were discovered, new technology that probably could be invented and... okay, even the worst case scenarios. Well, what was the biggest problem? What was the biggest problem, huh? The humans. We humans. We could possibly in the future destroy our planet, our only home. Well, that's already happening and we have to put that in mind. So in this game the humans were extinct. Some successfully escaped in the spaceship but eventually died by the space creatures. Or wherever those are. And that will be.
This
Is Earth.
we are all used to see it like this. A healthy and a
Beautiful planet
But things
have changed,
the humans have
destroyed the
planet.
our
Mission
was to
protect the humans. Well,
they are all
extinct.
dead.
Only
The robots have
survived. And my name is Subject
subject
99. And let me
tell you that right now
we
are
lost somewhere
in the
universe without
fuel and under attacked by
unknown.
creatures.
So, in this game you are a robot who has to defend the spaceship from the creatures. They will destroy some doors to go into the spaceship, and you have to defend it. If you want, you can rebuild the doors. Hitting the creatures or rebuilding the doors, you will earn credits. And with those credits, you can unlock new areas, buy ammo, health points, and even new upgrades. These upgrades are spread around the spaceship, which you have to unlock new areas to buy the upgrades for your robot. Okay, let's see the progress now. I started for modeling the interior of the spaceship, created some corridors and big rooms. Then start coding, created a class methods, where I can call methods from any class. For example, the function start a new game. I have a class data to store information and classes, so I can access specific classes in the future. In the class onStart, I can check if the game will be starting in the main menu or already in game, useful for test features if I need to while developing. I've created some basic user interface, UI that comes with Unity engine, so I can have something to start the game. After the main menu is done, I wrote some methods to make the user interface work. I've done methods to either show the interface that can be called in any other script that's inside of a class named user interface methods. In short, I've created classes for every type of user interface, a class for the main menu and others such the pause menu, gameplay, game over, etc. I started coding my player, the controls, and I've created some spawns for the enemies. And now I have the class enemy system. We'll have methods to control the enemies in each round, to call new rounds, to spawn, and other logic, like to get the enemy's number. And now the class enemy, and using the navigation system that comes with Unity, I made some AI for the enemy. And I wanted to have destructible doors in the game, so the enemies have to destroy the doors to go inside of the spaceship, and you could repair those. Everything inside of a class, of course, but well, I gave so many names that the final name I gave was door area. At this point it will be a mess the next names I will give for future classes. Even for the variables. So I went to Blender and I made a door with 4 different graphics of destruction and made some changes in the map as well. I also wanted to create a story, so I had an idea. I went to search for textures of the planet Earth and the Sun, also the universe, for the background. Link to the site below in the description. So I wanted the story to start when I pressed the button play. And I did some basic animations for the main menu scene. Instead of having a cube walking on the spaceship, I wanted a robot. I started modeling one. And only God knows the trouble I've been, like 2 days later, I messed with the robot and spent like 2 hours trying to recreate animations and other stuff. God nerd. So I animated the legs and the upper body and exported to Unity. I made it possible to control the legs direction when moving the player. It's a robot, so it can rotate 360 and the legs keep going towards a given direction, while the upper body is staring at your mouse. And I had no idea how to do that, and I did. Because I'm not used to create games in the third-person camera. And it was a problem for me, the character animation and movement. And now your player can shoot. It will shoot lasers later. I've been correcting some bugs about the player graphics, and sometimes he didn't want to look at your mouse, and it started looking somewhere else. And other bugs about the player animation. Also, the wave system is working now. Enemies are spawning in the spawning zones and they are trying to catch you. You can shoot them and eliminate them. Then I started recording voices for the story, and that wasn't so easy. Because sometimes I start laughing and that was the weirdest thing I've ever done. What about if someone had heard me? Maybe it will think that I was crazy or something. Why is he doing that voice? You wanna see? This is hard. Well, we are all used to see it like this. A healthy and a beautiful... I can't do this. We are all used to see it like this. A healthy and a beautiful planet. Only the robots have survived. And my name is Subject 9099. And in the end of the day 2, I start animating the story. And created another spaceship model. In the day 3, I download the music that's free to use under the Creative Commons license, and I insert it in the game. I continued the main menu animation, where I created particles simulating the galaxies and planets. And I also added particles for the spaceship while the spaceship is moving. I made some credits after the story scene, and then I start coding the audio system and some events for animations. I finished coding some other classes and started creating the head-up display, which will show you the health of the enemies, even yours. Instead of having a ball as a projectile, I wanted something like a laser, or closer of that idea. I created collisions to detect if you entered, you can repair the door if no enemies are destroying it, and if the enemies entered the collision, they can destroy the door. In the end of the day 3, I created another class to interact with objects, like when you have to buy ammo, or health points, or even upgrades. I placed some lights inside the spaceship to give a better look, and I had to make manually invisible walls to recreate better shadows. I've been coding the doors that you can open to unlock the next area, and made some changes in the spaceship. While doing that, I removed some bugs that I found while testing the game. Then I wanted to create a wallpaper for the game. Also, I gave a better look to the robot, but I spent the next 2 hours trying to recreate the player and his animations. And now when you're inside of a dark zone, the lights effects of your player will turn on. Well, I loved that feature. And that's pretty much the end of day 4. Then I made some 3D models, like the enemy and the final boss, and others like tables, sofas, chairs, lockers, etc. I started creating the level design of the game. I also removed some bugs and started making this video. In the day 6, I removed some bugs and continued building the level design. And of course I continued editing this video. And in the last day I submitted the game and this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time!